Hello, and welcome to today's episode of Pros and Politics Podcast, where we are polished and poised for greatness and impact. My name is Kahala, and I'm your host. Thank you so much for joining us again today as we continue our journey through the Divine Nine. Today, with the president of the East St. Louis chapter of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated, Mr. Anthony Bond.
Good morning, Kahala. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, I'm blessed.
President Bond.
Hey, how about that? Let's give it up for that.
That's right.
A lot of hard work.
Yes. Well, welcome. We thank you so much for
you.
coming on our podcast today.
Thank you.
As we continue our journey through the Divine Nine.
Let's talk about it.
I mean, we are a organization, or should I say a group of organizations that do a lot of community service and, help the community and just do all kinds of things. And obviously, Omega Psi Phi is a huge part of that. So we wanted you to come on today and just tell us all about your organization, your chapter, and what Omega Psi Phi is doing in communities all over the country and really all over the world, as you all are international as well.
Exactly.
But first, tell us about you.
So my name is Anthony Bond, as you clearly stated. Born in Detroit, Michigan, born and raised, high school, college, all those good things. And then I had the bug to join the Air Force. That started my professional development career. Ended up here at Scott Air Force Base. Decided that active duty military was a great life, but I wanted a little bit more. So I left the active duty component and went reserve. Spent the next 24 and a half years as a reservist. So in total, 28 years, 4 months, with a lot of tours around the world, a lot of deployments. And then I ended up working for the government as a contractor. And currently I work as a civilian for the government. So that's been that piece of my professional world.
Well, thank you so much for your service.
Thank you.
I have a bit of a military family, both sides actually,
Gotcha.
and my father was in the Air Force, and then my father-in-law and mother-in-law were in the Air Force, and there's been a lot of conversation over the decades of my life about life on base.
Yes.
And the dinners on base and the shopping on base, and
it's its own little city. Depending on what base you go to, it could be a pretty big city.
Okay.
Some are pretty, average size, but the resources, the things that are available, it's a different lifestyle. You have what we refer to as military brats, which are kids of military members, and I'm sure they have some stories. I'm sure there's podcasts out there, so if you want to know what military brats are about, I'm sure if you seek out military brats, they can tell you better than I can. I was actually a member, but it's some interesting things that happens on the base. It's kind of like what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. What happens on the base
stays on base.
Stays on base. There you go. But it was an interesting life. I enjoyed it. Great memories, great friendships, lasting. So, it was a great part of my life, and now we're here. Yeah.
And now you are not only a veteran, but a businessman.
This is correct. So I've always been an entrepreneur. I was that little kid who, to this day, my parents still get actually snail mail. It comes in the mail because I was the one who would fill out the back of the comic books, how to start your own business. I don't know where it came from, but I started doing that at a very young age, and then it just continued on through junior high school and high school, when I started joining clubs like DECA. I think it has a different name now, Distributive Education Clubs of America, which was like a debate club for businesses. So it taught you how to merchandise, how to market, how to inventory, and then you did this against other schools. So shout out to my high school, Oak Park High School, the Redskin School Store. Taught me a lot about business, and it got that bug in me. So from that to college, took obviously more business courses, a business management major, a couple of masters and a few other things. But I've always owned businesses. So this is a passion of mine. I also enjoy teaching and talking about business. So I share as much as I can with those who are, want to learn. And I'm always, I'm a sponge. You can always learn. So you're never going to be great at business if you think you know it all. One of my mentors told me so.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, we will get more into that, but then there's also your journey into Omega.
Yeah.
So tell us about that.
So there were these men that I would see who did a lot of interesting things in the community, at my high school, at my college, just around and about. In Michigan, I didn't see a lot of Omegas when I was early on, but as I started paying attention, I started realizing there's something different about those gentlemen. So I started asking questions, which became my focus. I ran into one or two guys that really impressed me, and that began my journey seeking Omega. And here you have now the Purple Blazer.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you are a member, obviously, more than a member of the East St. Louis chapter.
This is true. I'm currently the bossless in Greek terms, president in for everyday purposes.
Layman terms.
Layman's terms. There you go. So, New Chi chapter of East St. Louis, Illinois, where I'm humbled beyond measure to be the president, to lead such a group of outstanding men. The pressure is enormous in our chapter. We call it the pressure of 89 blocks like no other. I'll give you an example. We just had one of our members become the magistrate for the Eastern District of Missouri. Rodney Holmes is now the Honorable Rodney Holmes.
Yes, congratulations.
Yes, shout out to Rodney
Holmes.
Holmes. There you go, Honorable Holmes.
I
exactly.
practiced with him for years.
There you go.
Outstanding guy, just the sweetest person in the most Omega kind of way. He just was very nice, excellent attorney, and was just so personable. So when I saw through social media, because obviously now we're in totally different jurisdictions. He's in Missouri and I'm still in Illinois.
Exactly.
I was like,
yeah, he's the first African American to hold that position. So you have the likes of Rodney Holmes. He's one of 3 other judges that sit in our chapter meetings, along with a lot of high-ranking administrators and base personnel who sit at the highest levels. You name it, right? So
Omega men are doing it.
They're doing it. So Robert rules and order are in order. You better know what you're doing. So the pressure to understand, or the pressure to make sure you're handling business, doing things the right way, is expected. That's the expectation. Yeah. So, and we're doing amazing things. Just last week, we were in Minneapolis, where we won Large Chapter of the Year for the 11th consecutive year. It's amazing. So our region, our district is Michigan, Minnesota, Illinois, Indiana, Wisconsin. So that means those 89 blocks, we're beating the cities like my hometown, Detroit, Chicago, Indianapolis. You name it, we're beating
my
it.
former hometown.
There you go. 11 years in a row. The last 6 years, we've been in the national chapter here twice, and we've been running up three, maybe 4 times. So we're doing the work. We're being recognized for it. Once again, that's the expectation. So immense pressure to perform. Yeah.
And you all are doing exactly that. So in terms of what your initiatives are as a chapter here in our local community, I really wanted to talk to a lot of the chapters here because, as you all know, I put on for my city. We do 89 blocks here, and of course, St. Louis Metro, and we're expanding, right? Yeah. But I'm always going to be who I am. I'm always going to be where I'm from, and I'm always going to make sure that I am doing my part to change the narrative until it doesn't need to be changed, right? And I don't know if we'll ever get to that point, but it's our responsibility to make sure that people know that we are so much more as a people, right? Than what the media says or what people say or what you hear or the little comments. Look at what you just said. Your chapter is excelling in huge city circles, Detroit, Indianapolis, Chicago, and that's so that is so important for people to know that there are excellent men and women right here in East St. Louis and the St. Louis metro area, right here in the state of Illinois, that are doing outstanding things. And your chapter is obviously an example of that. So what other initiatives? I know there was a joint endeavor.
That's correct.
That was pretty inaugural, right? So tell us how that was.
So I have a very good friend. His name is Polmark Earl McDowell. He's the president of East St. Louis Campus Alumni Chapter. And we've been great friends for years. Just so happens that we end up being presidents at the same time. Over the years, we've always discussed 1911 initiatives. We both were founded in 1911, and a little bit of history for the 89 blocks. East St. Louis campus, East St. Louis Qs were chartered several days apart in April of 1955. So
Wow.
the synergy has always been there. It was just time to put that synergy together. We had talked about some things during our centennial. We weren't able to make it happen during our centennial, which obviously 100 years for both of us at the same time. So we just, stayed the course, and the opportunity presented itself. We sat down and said, hey, let's go talk to our chapters, see if we can put some things together. So speaking of the inaugural, so today is our inaugural 1911 Cup. It features the men of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated New Kai chapter, along with the East St. Louis campus. We were able to get it done. So we'll be at Stonewolf Golf Course today. Shotgun kickoff from 1 p.m. to 5ish, whatever time the guys and gals get done on the course. But also in that time from 3 till 8 will be a nice day party. So if you don't golf, it's okay. You can still come on out and have a good time with some professionals, some great adults, and talk about synergies that we can use to catapult and take our chapters, our city that you're so passionate about, that I'm passionate about, to the next level. Change the narrative. Show people that we do a lot more than what the media portrays.
So that brings us kind of like to piggyback what you just said. I feel that it's so important for us to work together as a community. Black men will work together, Black women will work together. And then also, obviously, for our organizations to work together. Do you feel that's important? And what are some really good ways that we can do better at it? Like we do good, we do the group strolls and
Yeah.
we put the pretty pictures up,
Yeah.
but there still needs to be even more engagement together.
Yeah.
And so
Agree.
do you feel that that's important? Obviously, there are some initiatives that you have done, but how can we continue those types of initiatives?
So it's imperative that we understand what the future looks like and what's actually happening right now. We don't even have to look into the future. We can look at businesses across America. They're emerging, and they're emerging for a reason. They can't do it by themselves. You're only as strong as your weakest link. It's 9. It's called the Divine 9 for a reason. It's not the Divine 1. I know we all think we have the best organizations in the world. I get it. Shout out to the AKAs. Shout out to the Qs. But hey, realistically, the challenges are enormous. We just can't do it by ourselves. We'd be foolish to continue to think trying to achieve success and new heights with old practices doesn't work. So I'm proud to be spearheading an initiative where we can show two amazing organizations, 100+ years of community service, which you mentioned. We're able to now take these two organizations. That shows the community that we can work together. That's another one of those stereotypes. We're always looked at as though we can't work together. Oh, we can work together very well. So we're better than the photo op, right? When I took office at our Founders Day during my speech, I said we have to be more than the photo op. It's great to take pictures. It's great to post those things on social media, but let's take those pictures after we change things in the community. So my focus for the chapter, my focus with myself is always be as impactful as we can. I think when we put our organizations together, whether it's the Qs and AKAs doing the joint venture, that heightens the awareness, that heightens our resources, heightens our ability to take things to the next level, which ultimately makes our communities in which we serve that much better. So that's my stand. I'm hoping that the other presidents feel the same way, and I think they do, because we talk collectively all the time. So we're trying to do more things like that. I think you will see more initiatives where you have collaboratives. So that's the focus.
I love what you just said. You are more than a photo op. Because again, that's how a lot of people, and that's one of the reasons why I decided to bring this series to the platform.
I love it.
Because obviously, I had one person say, your platform says AKA Bigly. Like the color, my brand, right?
Your brand.
And I have no problem problem with that. I mean, I am an Alpha Kappa Alpha woman. I am an Alpha woman. And so I'm like, I don't have a problem with that. But I let people know all the time, we have Deltas, we have Zetas, we have SG-Ros. We have more than 50% or roughly 50% of our guests are not Greek at all, because our platform is for every woman. It's for every person of color. And going back to more than a photo op, I wanted this to be an opportunity for people to see that we are more than the photo op.
Exactly.
We're more than
the parties,
purple and gold. We're more than the stroll. We're more
Yeah.
than a pinky. We're more than the hooks, right?
Yeah.
We are education. We are service. We are voter registration. We are reform. We are all those things. And we can work together, because people may say they don't watch, but they do.
They do.
They do.
Yeah.
And it was such an eye-opener when you and Earl, who is a dear friend of mine, and he will be on as well. I was like, oh, that is so nice. Like, but that was my position, right? Because I am Greek, you know, and I am all about coming together. But that really, in my opinion, was going to change some things in some people's minds about whether Black men can work together.
Exactly.
Whether, you know, organizations can come together, Greek or not, and be able to have a good time, right? A safe time, right? Because we can never get together and it be safe, right? Yeah. So have a good, safe time, dress up, laugh, talk, decompress, right? You're not working, you're not on base, you're not, you know, cooking dinner, you're not ironing clothes. You just able to say, okay, well, I'm gonna just put on something nice, go out with some, you know, educated, wonderful Black people in the community and just have a good time.
Highly educated.
Exactly. And then go home.
Yes.
Right?
Exactly.
And then go home.
Yeah.
But I've had a good evening with some good people.
Yeah.
And I really I want people to be able to see the Black businesses in East St. Louis. I want people to be able to see the Black educators in East St. Louis. I want them to know about legislation that is impacting them on the local level, because people don't always understand. They think, oh, well, what goes on in the White House matters most. No, it matters. Don't get me wrong. But what goes on in your school board matters. What goes on in your local courthouse matters. And that is the purpose. And so to have you and the other members of the Divine Nine to come on and say, we are more than a photo op.
Yeah.
Like, that is so dope. Yeah. And that is going to resonate through the airwaves, you know, all over YouTube, because that is so very important, that communities of color, no matter what you do, can come together and do something positive for the community.
Oftentimes when you go to a funeral, I know in the sermons they'll say, what that dash, what did you do
in that dash?
In that dash, right? What did you do in between the times you arrived here and then the time you depart this earth? It's no different. You know, what are you doing before and after that photo op? And you took that photo op for a reason. It has to be more than filling up your Achievement Week book. I'm not sure what the AKs call it, but we all have a lot of the same ideologies, a lot of the same initiatives. And a lot of these things are mandated by our founding sisters and brothers. So these are things that we have to be keen on. A little bit more strategic, I think, in some instances than executions. I think we can always do better. But guess what? We learn those things through synergy. Our way of doing business may not be the Kappa's way of doing business, but when we sit down, guess what? We can both grow, we can learn. At the end of the day, we want to reach the finish line. We may have different ways of getting there, but we're all going to cross that finish line because we're strong African-American men and women, and our goal is the community. We're all rooted in community service. Every D9 organization,
everyone,
community service.
Exactly. So you just mentioned community, and your establishment in Fairview Heights. I was riding over today and I'm like, it's an event space. It's a place for entertainment and music and comedy. What does Jazzy 159 for you? What does that mean to the community? Because the AKAs have stuff, and I've had elected officials call me and say, hey, do you have a place? And I'm like, as a matter of fact, I do.
Yeah.
You know, so it's everybody.
Yeah.
And it is just, it's a whole It's a vibe now.
It is definitely a vibe. It is definitely a place that people can come and feel safe. We have people like yourself, elected officials. We have some that I won't name for obvious reasons, but they come with the highest of security, Secret Service type. So we've had, doctors, lawyers, it doesn't matter who you are. You're going to come in, you're going to have a good time, and we're going to make sure that you're safe. You can let your hair down, literally. If you don't have hair, you can sweat on your forehead. Whatever it is you need to do, our focus and our aim is to give people of color. We all know that in that bi-state area, there are more opportunities over here across the river in Missouri, but we live in Illinois, and there were just not a lot of options that were suitable that I thought for professional Black men and women. I wanted a space that we can come in, relax, have a nice time, walk into a nice facility. Oftentimes we have facilities, but we have status now. We want our status to match the places we're walking into.
Absolutely.
So that was important. The look, the feel, the type of talent we bring in. Shout out to all of the musicians, local and national, because we do both in terms of music as well as comics, and they bring it, right? So because I'm requiring that we bring such talent to the area, then I need to make sure my staff is together. I need to make sure I'm together. Now, we don't get it right all the time. I'm not saying we hit home runs all the time, but we're definitely swinging for the fence, right? Every time.
That's right.
So we're doing our best. We listen. We look at our Google. We get all the feedback, all the analysis, and I look at that stuff. I share it with my staff so they don't think that I'm just always the bad guy, just harping. So I share those things with them, but I do it for a reason so they'll understand that this is what the people are saying. You have to put yourself in their shoes. If you were here as a customer or a guest, you would want to be X, Y, and Z. So we need to always keep that at the forefront. But the place, Jazzy159.com, it's growing. It's growing daily. It amazes me. You asked me what was my vision. My vision was just to give us a space that would accommodate a lot of our wants, needs, and maybe even some desires. I have some things I would like to do along with my partners. So we're daily working at getting better, and we're making those connections, talking to those resources, trying to bring things that we think the community would like. And it's for everyone. Obviously, it's a more mature crowd. We say 30 and up. And that's pretty much, and we have a few people who come in, just a few.
Got a few young folks.
Just a few young folks, but they're understanding. So you got to teach them, raise them in the way they should grow.
That's right.
So and then maybe some of these issues that we're dealing with on the outside won't be as varied and as many. So thank you for the compliment. Jazzy 159 is definitely near and dear to me. It is a labor of love.
Labor of love. I could see it. I saw the labor of love rolling around.
Oh my goodness. It is time consuming, but it has gotten to the point that it's very manageable because you want success. You want excellence. You want all those things. So it takes a lot of work. We're now at about year 4.5, be 5 years this New Year's Eve. So no signs of slowing down. We're just trying to get better.
And all those things that you just said, I love. You want to be excellent. You listen to your customers. True signs of a businessman, which you obviously are. And that is how you will grow. I also feel within my heart of hearts, the labor of love, because it is literally a whole nother full-time job.
It is.
And I had a law firm when I lived in Indianapolis. It was a solo practice, but I was a full-time public defender. And before I could really get it where I wanted it, obviously my husband passed away and I moved back here. And so now having Pros and Politics LLC and the podcast, I'm like, oh my goodness. This is a full-time job, and people don't see that, right? No, but it's so good to come on here because we love Black business here at Pros and Politics Podcast, and to hear people say that, so people know if they're thinking about getting the capital or just, okay, well, I'm gonna take the $10 I got in my pocket and I'm gonna start doing this, to understand going in that if you're serious about it, it's going to take time. It's going to take blood. It's going to take sweat. It's going to take tears. You're going to want to give up, but you got to keep going. When somebody leaves a bad review, you got to be like, okay, well, you know what? They may not have said it in the best way.
Yeah.
They need to do better, but I'm going to take it and I'm going to see if there's validity to it. And then I'm going to use that to do better. And the fact that you're saying, oh no, we want to be excellent because again, there's a stereotype of Black business and, you know, oh, customer service. No, that is not all Black business.
No, it's definitely not.
That is not all Black business.
Say it again.
That is not all Black business.
Say it again.
You know, we are excellent. We are an excellent people.
Yeah.
And we do business.
Yeah.
And we can do business. Yeah. And the fact that you have that space, that the Jack and Jill moms can have their event, you know, that
was a great event, by the way.
It was. I had so much fun, by the way. But just to have that, you know, in our community, to be able to provide that type of environment is just outstanding. So where are you located for those who don't know, right? Because everybody is not in St. Clair County that watches. So where or listens, where are you located?
So our address is 5225 North Illinois Street, Fairview Heights, Illinois. Our website is very simple, JAZZY, the number 159.com, Jazzy159.com. If you leave your email, you get all our updates. You'll have first insight of everything we have going on Wednesday through Sunday. There's always something going on. So it's also a way to reach us, leave a message, ask questions. Just cruise the website. We encourage you to cruise the website. There's some great footage on there, pictures, videos. You know, we're doing the things that we need to do. That's time consuming. So I had to actually shout out to Tiffany Inc., who I brought on. I'm going to have to introduce you all. I think she'd be great. Someone that you have a great interview with. She also is a full-time work. She's a exec for PepsiCo, but then she has her side business called Tiffany Inc., where it's all PR and event stuff, and she does great.
Awesome.
So I brought them on. I just re-signed the contract maybe 2 weeks ago, but we started out on our venture partnership about 8 months ago. So I'm relieved. I look a little more relaxed now because I'm not doing all the postings, worrying about all the flyers. I just kind of send them the information and all the updates, and they just
handle their business.
They just handle, and they do an excellent job.
Awesome.
The content is amazing. The quality is top notch. But if you're going to take your business to the next level, a lot of times people are going to your website, they're looking at your social media pictures. That stuff needs to be next level. So you need a next level type of person to handle it for you. So once again, shout out to Tiffany Inc.
Awesome. So that's how we can reach you. That's where you're located. And you say you have a weekly schedule.
We do.
Okay. So even if someone just wants to try it out, pretty much Wednesday through Saturday?
Wednesday through Saturday. So I can run it down for you. So Wednesday, we just started. This is week 2. We call it Customer Appreciation Wednesdays. So I've tapped in with our liquor reps and sponsors, and they're looking to give away free T-shirts, free drinks. We do a lot of free food, and it's simply just a night to come in, no theme other than customer appreciation.
Just to be appreciated.
Just come in and be appreciated. Come in, have a great time, just sit back, relax, listen to some good music, and then go home and get ready for what we have the rest of the week. So Thursday has become a sensation. So I was sitting back thinking, what could I do on a Thursday? As a business owner, you're trying to appeal to the senses of many, right? So I thought about it. I said, let's do karaoke. Well, everyone's doing karaoke, so I'm like, let's do a different spin on it. Let's add free birthdays. So now we call it Free Birthday Karaoke Thursdays. So what has happened now is people want to have their birthday parties on Thursday. So on any given Thursday, we have upwards of 5 to 6 birthday parties. To have a birthday party, you have to have 10 people or more, and then we'll supply you with a little bit of food, free food that is, a bottle of champagne, and we come out all at the same time. It just lights the club up. And we have different parties throughout the club, and people are just having a great time. And our list, you have to go on jazzy159.com. If you happen to have my number, you can text me. But our list is just backing up. People are enjoying the Thursday. They're able to get in, do their parties on a Thursday. A lot of people work on the weekend, or they have life happening.
On the
So
weekend.
exactly. So Thursday seems to work out. We open at 6:00. They're typically out by 11, so there's a good window to get in and have a great time, and still be up
Home
in
in a
time.
decent hour. Right.
Yeah, a decent hour to get home from work for Friday for your last day of the week. So we're excited about where that's going. DJ Fat Mac, shout out to DJ Fat Mac. I'm sure you know DJ Fat Mac. He does a great job, and then DJStew.net sits in for him when he's not available. Then we move on to Friday. Everyone loves fish. I grew up in a family where fish was everywhere, so I don't eat fish as much as I used to, but it is big around the country. So we have a Fish Fry Friday that starts at 5 p.m., goes to 7. Actually, I'm sorry, it goes until midnight.
Okay.
And then we go from 7 o'clock until 1 o'clock a.m. in the morning. 7 to 1 a.m. is our live Friday Night Live.
Okay.
Where we have a DJStew.net. Sometimes I'll sit in. And then we have the best local and national talent from around the world to come in to perform 2 amazing sets of live entertainment.
Okay.
Once again, we have birthday parties going on. We have retirements. We have people coming in from out of town visiting. It's amazing. We always ask, who's in, where are you from? And people are watching us all over the country. Social media is working, obviously. And they're coming in to visit. They come in from Springfield. They come from Memphis. They come from Indianapolis because they like what they see. They understand the vibe. So they're coming. So we're like, wow. Then we go into Saturday, grown folks. Saturday, myself, DJ Word is Bond, I hold it down on the ones and twos. And then once again, we have live bands as well, national and local. So Friday and Saturday, the stage is blazing. We have the best talent. So if you're into live music, it's a place to be.
Awesome.
It's definitely a place to be. Sundays are for special events. We do special. We save that. We do special events, or we allow others to rent the venue
For special
as
events
well.
on
Yeah,
Sundays.
so.
Well, that is an outstanding lineup, and I am so happy for you. I'm
Thank
so
you.
excited
Thank you.
for your
Thank
continued
you.
success, not only as president of Omega Psi Phi, New Ka chapter, but also as a business owner and everything that you're doing. I just cannot thank you enough for coming
Thank you.
on
Thank you.
and for fitting us into your very busy schedule. And I'm just so excited about seeing everything that your fraternity, your chapter, and your business is going to do. Will you come back?
I will definitely come back. If you have me, I'm here. I'm here.
Absolutely,
And congratulations on your many successes. Your successes extend far, far, far,
Yeah.
far, 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 far.
You're too kind, but thank you so much. I'm trying, friend. I'm trying. So whether it's my 9 to 5, whether, that I'm truly blessed to have, or whether it's the platform and, all the things that my wonderful producer and I are trying to do when it comes to this platform, I am just so amazed that I'm leading out of season 4, leading
Wow.
into season 5,
Right.
and that the growth has just been really exponential. And I can't do anything but praise God for it because I know it's him.
Yeah.
Because I'm just I just have ideas, or he has ideas, and then we just put them in place. And so thank you for that. That really means a lot.
Yeah. So can I ask you a question?
Yes.
So is it what you thought it was going to be? Is the expectation? Is it like, wow?
Okay, I love that you asked me a question because no one ever asked me a question, and that's fine. But
That's
thank you.
That's the business person, and that's the synergy.
love
That's
it.
the leadership. Yeah.
I don't know if he's gonna laugh at me. It depends on what day you ask. So
Okay.
some days, you get the first brand ambassadorship, or you get, all these follows in a day, or whatever. You have somebody from across the country that inboxes you and says that they love what you're doing. So keep going. So it depends, because some days, you get the bad review, or you don't get the growth that day, or you just get that moment oh, well, I thought it would be faster or whatever. And then I am reminded that it is a journey, not a destination, and that it's a process. And so Rome wasn't built in a day.
No.
And so as a result, you just have to be consistent. Rockin' Horse, Chris tells me, got to stay consistent. And that's what I endeavor to do. And I feel that I've been consistent. So most podcasts, I think it's 7 episodes. And now, like I said, we're going into season 5 and a year podcasting, and the growth is absolutely there. So to answer your question, it depends on what day you ask, but
Gotcha.
most of the time, most days, I am so happy that I'm still going, and I have every intent to keep going. So yeah.
Well, I'm happy that you're going to continue going. Looking forward to the continued success and more podcasts. Yeah. And thank you for those words of wisdom or pearls, as
Yes.
you like to say.
Yes. Well,
And my sisters, Pam and Sandy, they're both AKs. One plays at University of Missouri, and yeah, one in Missouri, and the other one at Alabama State. So
that's awesome. See, you got all. It's just wonderful. Just all that wonderful Greekness
we love it.
in
We
your
love it.
family.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
Black and all that wonderful Black excellence.
There you go.
So, well,
There you
thank
go.
you so much.
Thank you.
And continued success.
Thank you.
All right.
All right.
And thank you for tuning in today to Pearls and Politics Podcast, where we are polished and poised for greatness and impact. Thank you for joining us today, and we hope you'll join us again next week. But in the meantime, please like, love, share, and subscribe. And we'll see you next Friday.